Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. I'm JB,
I'm Nada.
and we just went to go see the Thunderbolts. So
Let's
talk
talk
about
about
it.
it. All right, before we get into the movie, you know what time it is. Yep. Go ahead, make sure you have subscribed to our channel, like this video, and hit the bell so you get notified anytime we upload something else.
Make sure y'all do that.
Okay? All right, but let's get into the next part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Thunderbolts.
Okay, so the Thunderbolts was directed by Jack Schreier. Our leads are pretty much going to be, Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova. We got Wyatt Russell as U.S. Agent. We got Sebastian Stan as Winter Soldier. Well, Bucky, I guess.
Bucky.
Yeah, David Harbour as Red Guardian. So it's a lot of fun. The movie was pretty good, y'all. I liked it. I wouldn't say it's not like a 10. It didn't change the game at all, but it felt like Marvel's attempt at a Suicide Squad. That's what it felt like to me.
Yes, I think that's what it is.
But it did okay. By the way.
I think it was okay. I think as far as Marvel movies have been going,
it's been better than what they've been to me.
Yeah, I'm trying because. Like, we kind of sort of liked Captain America. We thought
Halfway.
Captain America was just like basic.
Yeah.
I also think this is kind of basic. I think the parts that bother me the most is, we'll get into it in spoilers, but there is a message. There's a clear message that they are trying to talk about, or this topic that they want to make a statement about. And I feel like they beat you over the head with it.
Yeah, they kind of do.
And so I was just like, oh, okay, like, we get it.
And I do feel like this movie kind of hit me in a way that I wasn't expecting. Like, as far as action, it was okay. It was just okay. But I think it hit me more like emotionally, and I wasn't expecting that.
Okay.
Not like, oh, I was crying or whatever, but like, just like, dang, like really thinking about the themes it was trying to gauge, like the undertones it was trying to give, something to what she alludes to,
so
which we will talk about.
It hit you emotionally, but it didn't necessarily it didn't bother you.
No, it didn't bother me.
So
it just
I didn't
expect
me a little bit.
I wasn't expecting it.
I wasn't expecting it either. But I'm trying not to spoil it yet. There are so many like visual representations of this certain like topic.
Yeah.
But then they also just keep saying it. They keep saying it over and over and over.
They do say it a lot.
And over and over and over again. And I'm just like, all right. Red Guardian, David Harbour.
He was the most fun for me.
Yes, we like him anyway as an actor.
David Harbour's great.
So I think he was really good.
And since we're talking about David Harbour, I feel like he does really well at starting like comedic tones and then easily switching like within his dialogue to something a bit more serious.
He does. I can give you that.
He doesn't feel like, I don't know, the cheesy like person who's there for comedic effect, because then he can make a joke and it transitions seamlessly in his dialogue to something more serious. You guys probably seen in the trailer where he'll make a joke and then he'll say, okay, Yelena, what's wrong? And then like he kind of pulls you in with that emotional switch.
He does.
And he does it well.
I can see it. I like it. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I'll give him that.
He does it well.
So yeah, and even like the comedy, he's not necessarily telling jokes the whole time. It's because he's Russian.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That makes it better. Okay, it's the Soviet that is supposed to be like funny, the broken English and all of that
it's
stuff.
His Soviet Russia. Yeah,
yes.
It's that extra.
So yeah, I don't know, what did you all think about the movie? The ending of it. Okay, so stay to the very end. Make sure you know that. There are 2 things you need to see at the very end.
Yeah, 2 post-credit scenes. The first one's just meh, and the second one is important.
It is very important. How do you feel about the direction that they're trying to go in? Do we need to save that for spoilers?
Maybe we can. I don't know if I like the direction, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I like it. Just how it ends and what they're claiming at the end of the film, I don't know if I like it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Okay, stay for spoilers, all right? But this is your warning. If you do not want to know what happens in the movie, if you don't want the juicy details, if you don't know the twists and the turns, then you have been warned. Spoiler alert. Go ahead and get off this movie and this video. And then come on back after you watch the movie, all right? You've been warned. Spoiler alert. Okay. Movie opens up. And I mean, this is really centered around Yelena, right? We already know Black Widow's sister, all of that. She's heavy into she's grieving. Okay.
I don't know if I would say depression.
I'm gonna say depression. Okay.
And
the movie's about
it leans. Yeah, I was gonna say it leans into this heavy theme, which is
depression. So she's depressed. She is searching for some more meaning in her life. She feels like she's in this void. And
they keep using that word specifically, boy.
And yeah, she's doing like odd jobs for Val. What's Val's whole name? Valentina
Allegra de Fontaine.
So she's doing odd jobs for Val, like cleanup crew, going in, killing people. And yeah, she's really depressed. Eventually she reaches out to Red Guardian, shows up at his door and kind of asks him, she's
like, Dad, why didn't you call?
Well, she didn't say that at first. She said that at the end. At first, she's just like, how have you been doing? Do you feel fulfilled? It's all of this like fulfillment kind of thing. And at first he says, yeah, but I mean, he's like a limo driver and doing all of these random things. He's sitting up there watching old Soviet videos and stuff. So I don't know. There's this whole thing. And eventually she says, you know what? I'm going to talk to Val and tell her, I want to do something more forward facing. And so Val's like, okay, you do this one job for me. And then, whatever you want to do after that, we can do.
And even when she was saying the job, she was like, just one little itty bitty job. Obviously, it's so on the nose when they say stuff. Yeah. And you're like, clearly this is going to be insane. But
yes. So, sidebar, Val is going through what at the same time?
Not an indictment. What is it?
Impeachment.
Impeachment. There we go. She's going through an impeachment in the court. Essentially, they're trying to get her for all the stuff that she's been like doing in the background, like secretive.
Yes.
So
impeachment trial is going on. She sends Yelena. She's like, hey, I need you to go into this facility. I'm going to make sure you can get in. And somebody is coming to try to steal some evidence, and I need you to kill her.
And she's like, okay.
What she says.
Right.
Okay, cool. So she shows up, and she doesn't see anybody trying to steal. Who shows up first?
So it was Ghost, and then her, and then Walker at the same time.
Okay, I didn't remember the order. Yeah. But yes, eventually all of them are in there trying to kill one another, and they start to realize, like,
we've all been set up.
We've been set up. So she sent everybody down there with the plans of just blowing up the bunker that they're in, along with all of this evidence. And the evidence is supposed to be like some big project that she was working on.
And part of the evidence is our friend named Bob, who was also down there.
Bob was down there. And Bob gets like awakened in the fight. They accidentally like touched some button.
It was like a chamber, I think he was in. I think they activated it or something. And he came out.
And poof, Bob shows up, and they're like, "Who is this?" And he's like, "I'm Bob." And I'm like, "Okay, Bob."
They could have come up with a better name than Bob. I don't know.
Why Bob? I don't know. So
his real name is Robert.
Yes.
So I'm like, okay, I don't know. They could have said Robert. I don't know.
Maybe Bob is funnier.
It didn't feel funny. I feel like that was one of those moments when they were trying to be, and I was like, because they kept saying, Bob.
And they got Bob, and now they're trying to break out of the bunker, right? Val realizes, she's looking at the cameras in there, she realizes that
they escaped from the fire.
Yes, and that they're all working together now. So as they're trying to get out, one thing that you kind of see is that if you touch Bob, you get like pulled into this void.
It was where you can see like a traumatic past memory, and they would show that for each person. So, you know, first Yelena touched them, then U.S. Agent Walker, he touched them, and they would all have like their own, like, not vision, but just like
kind of like a vision. Like it was almost like they were in the memory themselves.
They were experiencing this traumatic moment again.
Yes.
Whatever had happened in their life.
Okay, so again, depression, trauma is all in the movie.
Yeah.
Over your head with it. So yeah, they're getting out, and she sends a whole team to where this bunker is.
Yeah, to try to stop them from getting out. Yeah.
Because her assistant Mel is starting to realize, like, because they're like, who is this random person? And she's starting to realize, oh, he is somebody who was part of
the Sentry Project.
The Sentry Project, yes, the experiments. They were just supposed to be test subjects, and nobody that they had tested was supposed to actually be Sentry and alive. But he still was somehow. So Mel is realizing that they get out of the bunker, and they're just trying to get away. They want to get Val eventually, but they're just trying to get away once they see all of the like guards and the soldiers and everybody is there. And we kind of get to see Bob. He jumps out of the truck.
Well, he jumps out to create a distraction, right? So he creates a distraction. He just shoots a gun. They all, like 50 guards, all shoot him. He goes down, but then he gets back up. So that's already a bad sign. I don't know why y'all still shooting. So he gets up, okay, and not only does he get up, I don't know why, for some reason, levitating above the ground is low-key scarier than actual flight. Like, I don't know why that feels like that to me, because in the movie, you know, when Superman is above the city, you just kind of like, oh. When he's hovering above the ground, there's this sort of, I don't know, epicness to that, that like feels like, oh, snap.
It's the slow ride.
It's the slow hover, yeah. So Bob is like learning how to use his abilities, because spoilers, he's gonna become Sentry, but he doesn't know how to use his abilities, so he's just like flying around and doing stuff. But he's trying to figure out how to use it. So, but then you really get to see how like the beginnings of his OP-ness, because I mean they shot like 1,000, not 1,000, hundreds of rounds at him, and it did nothing.
Popped back up.
Yeah.
So now Val is like, oh no. We made him. I finally got my super. I mean, she was trying to build a superhero. That's what she was trying to do. And she got him now. So, what did he like pass out? And then that's how they ended up like getting him. I think eventually he passed out because he doesn't know how to use his powers and stuff yet. So, the rest of the group, they rally together somewhere else. Meanwhile, Val has turned the Avengers Tower. She bought the Avengers Tower.
And it's the Watchtower now. So,
and she's doing construction there. And she takes Bob to this tower now.
And low-key, since Mel sees it that Val is going crazy, she called up Bucky and was like, hey, can you go get and bring anyone you can to come help at the Watchtower? So Bucky goes to apprehend the Thunderbolts, but he's like, you know what? Y'all gonna come with me. We finna go to this tower. We gonna stop her. So they go up to the tower. They go up to the top, and it's I know, again, it's on the nose. Val was like getting a drink the same way like Tony was when Loki walked in from the first Avengers. It was very, you know, like it's supposed to be like nostalgic in a way.
Yeah, I can see that. Go ahead.
Sentry, they come in there, they confront Sentry, you know, they're like, I don't do this, blah, blah. Sentry's like, you know, I don't think you can stop me. You guys should probably just stop. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So they fight him, and like, it was really more of a skirmish than like an actual fight.
It was terrible.
But it was like, you could clearly see the the difference in power. Like, and I don't even know if I fully believe that he learned all these abilities that fast. Really, I don't know if I fully believe that. But
I mean, maybe they just needed to be activated, and like
he was giving Superman. He was very
was
much.
It that much time in between?
It didn't
when
feel like
she shot him down the first time, and then when they came, was that just like the next day?
I feel like it. The movie makes it feel like it was, a day. It couldn't have been no week, or. Or a few days. I don't even think it was a few days.
I don't know. But
it just feels like it was like a day.
He got a good grip on his powers after that.
Because the first time we see him, he's levitating. Okay. Then the next time we see him, he's levitating, but with control, like with stability. So somebody's punching him and he's like dodging them, like in this sort of ultra instinct way.
It was Superman ultra instinct.
And I was like, okay. And then, it's one thing to have flight, y'all. He has flight and telekinesis. Okay, so he was like grabbing, pulling them, like throwing them away. You already fast enough to fly towards them. Do you need telekinesis too? I mean, that just, I don't know. That felt too OP to me.
He had all the powers.
Yeah, except for laser vision. Well, yeah.
No, he didn't he?
Laser. Oh, I guess technically
somebody had a gun pointed at him, and then he melted the gun.
Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Nope.
He could do everything.
OP.
Can he freeze stuff with his breath?
I don't know, but we don't see Superman do that much.
But he can, right?
Superman can, yes, but we don't see it depicted in film. I wish we saw that more, to be honest. But yeah, he was giving Superman, y'all.
Yeah. So they fight. They're getting tossed.
Tossed, like, and then Bucky. I don't know why he thought he was hard, bro. He took off his jacket. He thought he was gonna make a difference.
He really did.
He thought it was gonna make a difference.
He threw that man's arm back at him.
Yo, not the Wakandan arm, too. It's the way he threw. Because when he threw the punch, it looked like the arm was like activating, like it was gonna do something.
I was nervous. Is he melting and breaking his arm?
But like, I don't know. Is it weird that he couldn't? I mean, it looked like he was crushing it, but he didn't crush it.
He didn't crush it.
Could he not crush?
Because he folded up that shield.
The shield, boy. He made that man a taco, boy. It was terrible. It went from a shield to a taco real quick.
It really did.
Cinco de Mayo.
Yes. So they get tossed in this fight, and they really just have to leave.
Yeah, they
because
just retreat.
What are you gonna do?
So then Val's like, basically controlling him, right? So she's trying to manipulate him.
She wants to control him.
Yeah, that's the goal. So she's like, go ahead and kill him. He's like, they're not a threat. I'm not gonna kill him. And then she's like, look, you need to do what I say. And he was like, why? And she was like, what you mean why? I made you,
you're my superhero,
And he's like, but you said I was a god. So this line was dope. He was like, she says, you're more powerful than all the Avengers combined. So then he said, you said I'm a god. And then she said, no, I didn't. And then he said, well, no, you did. You said I was stronger than all the Avengers, and one of them was a god. So if I'm stronger than all of them, technically I'm like 1.5 god, or 2 gods. I'm like 1.5.
And so she thought she was about to have this little puppet to just do her bidding.
And he turned on her quick.
No, very fast.
Turn on her quick.
It happens very, very fast.
Because, sometimes in this stuff, they do their bidding for a while, and then they slowly begin to realize, maybe I should be controlling myself. But in this situation, no, in 10 minutes, he was like, wait a minute.
Actually,
no.
I'm above this.
Yeah.
I'm above you. I don't have to listen to you.
Right.
And he doesn't. He's like, whatever, I'm going to do all the things that I want to do. And so at this point, he's like, why is a god listening to a human? And he's going to kill Val at this point. And so she clearly, and it was so obvious that she had this switch behind her back.
It was obvious.
She was like, so there was a kill switch that she made
it's like implanted in his head or whatever.
And he goes for Val, knocks the kill switch out of Val's hand, and as he's about to kill her, Mel, her assistant, picks up the switch and pushes the button.
Yeah. So he goes down.
And while he's down, at the same time, the team is just going at it with each other. Elena's talking about them. Red Guardian's trying to tell them, like, no, we need to be together. And she's like, no, we're losers. We're the rejects. We're this, we're that.
I was like, girl, okay, yeah, I suck. She just said it so many times.
But again, the movie continues to harp on this.
Like this.
You're all alone.
Depression.
You're alone.
Yeah.
You're alone. You're alone. We're nobody. Nobody ever loved us. Nobody ever wanted us. I'm like, girl. It kind of got to me, if you can't tell.
It was a little much.
So they're doing all of that and they're fighting. But then who pops up? Now, Bob Sentry is Void.
Yeah.
So he's got all the same powers, but he's completely black. All you see is like these little eyeballs.
They're like pinpricks of light.
Yeah. And he begins to hover over the city, and he's like, see, nobody ever loves you, really. Nobody ever really wants you. Everybody is all alone. And he starts turning people into shadows.
So what's interesting is like the way this is like visually shown.
I did like
that. Was kind of cool. How like he would just put out his hand, like just outstretch his hand, and just like they turn into shadow. And I don't know, in a weird way, it was like creepy. It was almost worse than like death. It was creepy. I don't know. It was like sending them to another realm or something. I don't know why I felt like that. Like I don't know what vibe, like why I was feeling that vibe, but
it felt that way.
Yeah, it was just
even as like people were darkness was like
encroaching
slowly.
Everything. Yeah.
All over the city and the buildings and going up the buildings and stuff. And I mean, of course, it's just talking about how depression can just overtake everything. Blah, blah, blah. So they're trying to figure out how they're going to fight it, but they can't fight him now. He's turning people into shadows. And something within Yelena says, no, I'm going in. Okay.
But she didn't really know that the Void was like full death. It could have been, but she just
could have been. Yeah. And okay, we'll talk about that in a second too.
Yeah.
But so she goes in, and essentially, like, there are rooms inside the Void that are Bob's traumatic past
and hers,
and all the people, I guess. But you have to kind of go through each of these rooms to get through it. You know, like you gotta sit there and work through your problems in therapy, get a therapist, okay? And you work through each of them, and they get down to the worst, terrible, horrible memory that he has, and it's just like, oh, all he ever really needed was somebody to just be there for him. Because so they get into, how does the fight start when everybody's there? Because everybody is there.
Well, so first Yelena fights her way to like Bob, internal, like inside the memory. And then I think Void starts to, I guess, feel that Bob is like gaining power or trying to get out. So he starts like making the room all crazy, but then they join them.
They all come into the darkness with you.
Yeah.
Because when you're depressed, you need family.
Because family.
And so, yes, they all come into the Void, and that's how they all ended up showing up there. And all it takes is literally all of them just coming and hugging.
But what's funny is there was one part in there that was actually funny because they were going into this and it's based on their past. When they showed up, they're like, oh my God, you guys made it. And Bucky's like, yeah, you know, they was like, what did you see? He's like, you know, my past is okay. I didn't see anything. And that was really, because I mean, he killed so many people. So like, what he could have saw, that would have been kind of cool to see what he saw. But and like he killed, Tony Stark's parents. Like that's like this. That would have been terrible to relive. He killed so many, and now he's a senator. Or well, he was a senator.
Yeah, not anymore. Congressman Bucky
Barnes, right? Congressman Barnes. But no, yeah. Basically, she's right. All it did was take like, a whole bunch of hugs and love and the warmth of other people.
All we need is love. That's the point of the movie.
And that felt kind of lame, but
yes. So they get him out, and we think they're gonna get Val for all of the charges against all of the things that she's done and yada yada yada, and she's acting like she's so nervous and she's so scared and don't want them to do anything.
But she manipulated again, and then she goes on the other side of this like concrete wall, and there's like a press, and she officially announces them as the new Avengers. And I don't know if I like that.
Okay, yeah, let's get into that real quick. Okay?
I don't know if I like that, y'all, because I don't know, they don't feel like Avengers. They can be their own team. They don't have to be Avengers. They could just be their own team. Yeah, they can just be Thunderbolts.
They can just be Thunderbolts.
Yeah. That doesn't make them less than. Yeah.
Don't know how I feel about them being the new Avengers. I just don't. I don't care about them.
Yeah.
Yelena and Red Guardian.
I care about them as well.
I like, and I like Bucky.
Yeah, I always like them.
But Ghost.
Yeah.
And off-brand Captain America. Like,
yeah.
I don't really care about them.
I like him as an actor. Wyatt Russell is great, but U.S. Agent, I mean, you know, I don't know.
So I'm just kind of not feeling the new Avengers thing. What at the end when it had like all of the headlines posted, it was calling them B-Vendors. I wrote them down.
That
like,
was funny.
Not my Avengers. I'm like, me neither. Like,
that's funny.
Or what was another one? The heard around the world. Cause like what? Yeah. That doesn't even make sense. Yeah. And it's just like, oh, we're gonna be together. We can be a team. We matter. I don't know.
They matter. It just it's almost like trying to force them into the spot of the Avengers. Don't just keep them where they're at. Like you don't need to do that. I don't think they need to do that.
No. So then when you jump to the end and you get this end credit scene with them all in the tower, and so now Sam is saying like, nah, y'all not really Avengers.
And see, even that, okay, so him and Bucky are friends. So are you telling me now they not cool? I'm like, okay, I know that they cool
How come Sam can't never just be cool with his friends and just stay cool with them?
I don't know.
Him and Cap, now him and Bucky fighting.
Wait, Sam and Cap.
Oh, they were on the same side.
They were on the same side.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No, Cap was against Iron Man.
Yes, okay, thank you.
And well, he was Falcon at the time, but Falcon was on Cap's side.
Well, either way, I don't want to see him fighting.
Yeah.
With Bucky.
Yeah, I feel like that dynamic I love. Like them being cool, I love that. So them saying, "Oh, now he's fighting for the copyright."
Suing him for copyright.
I was like, well, okay, whatever.
And you're Captain America now, like.
It's like lessening the positions. It's like the status of being the Avengers is like watering it down.
I mean,
I don't know.
Is it all watered down now? People feel like the Cap thing is kind of a little watered down.
I mean, I feel like it's watered down too.
And these just, I don't know. I'm not feeling them. Not my Avengers.
Yeah, it was just, you know.
So I don't know. I just think the movie was
okay.
Yeah, let's go final rating.
Okay. I think I'm gonna give it like a 6. It was above average. I had a good time, and I had a few laughs. So for me, I feel like that's kind of all I needed. I wasn't really expecting this to be great. Red Guardian really kind of sold a lot of things for me. I liked a lot of his parts, and then seeing the whole scenes with Sentry and like being kind of Superman. I'm a Superman fan. I did like that.
I got another point.
Those scenes was cool, but you know, I'm gonna probably give it a 6.
Also, are we just putting Bob on the sidelines? Is he about to be another Hulk?
That's a good point.
Cause what?
So that's a good point. It does feel like now he is in a Hulk position, meaning he's there, but he's like part of the team, but also he can't tap into his abilities. So he's.
What good are you? Why did we do all of this? You're not a villain. We don't even know who the big villain is anymore. And so you're not a villain. But you're not a superhero.
And they make it a point at the end of the movie to like where they have some dialogue where they're like, "Wish we had a Sentry," and he's like, "Well, guys, I can't tap into the powers, but I wash the dishes." And I was like, "Okay, I was like, then what's the point?
This was
of you being here?
pointless.
And so
you
now,
pointless.
It does feel like so now we need like a new Natasha to corral him up and say, hey, we need the other guy. And then we're going to have him, someone bring him back down. Hey, sun's getting real low again. I don't know. That felt kind of like he's fulfilling the slot, because the difference with like Hulk is that when Hulk was Bruce was meaningful because he was smart.
He was still meaningful.
Bruce was
but
meaningful.
Bob was sitting over there washing the dishes and drinking a milkshake in a row.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Anyway, I'm gonna give it a 6. That just almost made me want to say 5.
Damn.
I'm gonna give it a 6 too. I feel like out of the theater, you liked it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. I had a good time. It's because I give points for my experience. If I come out of the theater and I feel like, hey, it wasn't a great movie, but hey, I had a good time at the movies, then
Trust me, I get it. That's why I'm giving it a 6 instead of a 5, because I feel like they beat me over the head with the depression.
They did.
And you matter, and I mean, like, if that's the theme, all right, fine. But like, it was in all of the dialogue. Visually, you saw it represented that way.
The darkness taking over.
Yeah, you know, and so I feel like with the visual effects of it, I didn't need to hear it
all the time.
All the time, every single second. I don't feel like I needed to hear it. I feel like we could understand. Mm-hmm. Everybody was depressed and trying to find meaning, but it's just like, oh my God, okay, I get it. So yeah, that and the whole shelving century thing. But I'm gonna say 6. Okay. Let us know what you think about it, okay? Get in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. Are these your Avengers? And we will see you all next time in the next video, okay?
All right. See y'all later.